One of the things that I've heard is, well, why not a liquid? You hear that liquid might absorb better and such. And here's the thing, again, not all ingredients are created equally. One thing a liquid collagen and a collagen powder have in common is the way it starts. But before I go there, I want to share why we also didn't come out with capsules. So the beautiful thing about being a brand that just started and being able to formulate anything on your wish list, you get to pick the top experts in the industry. You also get to take centuries of learning, because remember I said this dates back to traditional Chinese medicine. And in fact, back in the Chinese dynasty, there were reports of people using, now obviously this is not what's used, but donkey, I kid you not, donkey hides. So somebody was onto something with collagen, and for years, chemists and scientists tried to extract collagen in the proper way to keep the proper, and I won't go into all the science, but we'll make sure you have everything there, to keep the most important actives going so that it could be used in its true need and form. So with that being said, they tried. In the 1960s, they thought they got it, and it wasn't quite complete. But then in the 1980s through 1985, there was a scientist who finally figured out how to extract it with all the proper properties, right? Okay, so I'm gonna jump a little. And the reason why is when we went to formulate, it's like walking up and somebody gives you a shopping spree card to your favorite store. I could create whatever I wanted. And again, not a chemist, and I don't pretend to be, but I know where to hire the best ones. So with that, we looked at everything. I looked at the top selling collagens in the marketplace and their powder. But then I looked at, liquids, and I looked at capsules and everything else. So right away we ruled out capsules. And the reason we did that simply was, you gotta fit a lot into that little thing to get the proper amount that you would need, even if you use the correct kind of collagen, which we'll touch on in a second. So we ruled that out, and a lot of people do not like swallowing pills. My daughter's one of them, and she drinks her collagen religiously. So with that being said, we ruled that out, and I started looking at, as I said, the very top #1 company in collagen supplements out there is a powder. And I thought, then, I talked to the experts, and we worked with a team of chemists as well as people in the nutrition world, like Pat and Bree Anderson. And this is their life, and they understand it from a user standpoint, but then our chemists understand it from their standpoint. The top brands have powder. But then I said, well, why don't we do a liquid? It's a little different, right? And I, was really like, you heard different reports, and that's kind of what I'm gonna also put on here, because one of the questions is, well, if you look at it, some say that liquid is absorbed way more than regular powder. But here's the interesting fact. Think of wherever somebody's collagen source is from, whether that is bovine, which is actually the, for ours, we have a hormone-free, grass-fed, responsibly done, which is the cow hide, right? And then you think of things like also marine collagen, which we're going to talk about ours, and that as well. Ours is fish skins, right? So you have that because that's where all those nutrients that can be extracted. And there's other things you've heard of, there's some that say plant, but that's not really a thing, which we'll express why we're not vegan on this product. And we'll talk, remind me, I know you guys will, you'll keep me on. I could talk about this for hours because it is my passion. So then you look at that, and here's the thing. All of that has to be taken. Some use chicken, some use all kinds of stuff. But when they do the extraction process, extract, first of all, is a powder form. When they do it, there's a lot of things that have to happen. Think about a cowhide, or think about a chicken, or think about anything out there, right? How are you gonna make that a supplement so that labs can use everywhere? Are they taking it in its liquid? No. And this is kind of my aha moment when I had my wish list, when I talked to the chemist, because I said, well, let's just develop a liquid. And they're like, okay, but Melissa, you get how it starts as a powder. We take a supplement that we purchase, and every lab does, because that has to be transformed. It has to be purified. It has to be kept in order so that all the actives are there properly and in place. So I can get a lot more scientific, but that really is the scaled down version of it becomes something that is turned into a powder. Now, where that might be true are the type of collagens you use. So there are collagens that are not taken in that perfect, beautiful, hydrolyzed manner, where they are able to break it down to smaller pieces. That's the way I'm going to say it. Smaller molecules, however you want to say it, so that your body can absorb and ingest it in a better way. So all that being said, when I learned that, I'm like, I kid you not, I had so basically, if you purchase, there are some liquids on the market and there are some powders, and I'm sure they're all great. And if you're taking one that you're seeing great results, more power to you. I needed to create something that I could put the Bellame name on and understand exactly why it made sense. So with that, if you have a liquid, which is actually referred to as a pre-made drink, because you're taking that supplement and you're putting it in. Now, there's so many different formulations, even when it comes to liquid and when it comes to powder. And that is where we get to make ourselves unique. So I said to them, wait a minute. So if I do a liquid, you're basically telling me I start with a powder? Boggled, right? My mind was like, wait, what? So we decided not to go that route. When I realized it was the same absorption rate, because we're all using, or at least the good brands are using, and there's a lot of good brands, hydrolyzed collagen, so that you get the smaller particles that are easily absorbed, right? I'm like, well, wait, I'd rather not have something that I have to carry around, refrigerate, worry about contamination. Personally, if you're like me, I'm everywhere. And I need something that I can fit into my purse or pocket and go. And for me, it really became about putting out a product that I personally would use. Again, I won't put anything with our name on it that is not worthy of something I would give to my family or something I actually would use. So that became number one reason, right? Also, we wanted to develop an unflavored and a flavored. Personally, I devour these. I love them. I work out with them. This is our Bellame body that will be available at end of next month, but we'll get to that in a second. I also wanted the unflavored mix in coffee. Scott loves his in coffee. You can put them in smoothies. You pretty much can put them in anything you want. And the other difference was not just convenience, really contamination, not mixing, not having, let's face it, we live in a world now that is all plays to the germaphobe. I'm a self-proclaimed germaphobe. I was spraying down airplanes before it became cool. And it is just how I am made. So I wanted something that I didn't have to worry about contamination. Again, I could throw in my suitcases. I travel a lot. And it was my thing. You could take to the gym, whatever you wanted. So that was number one. Number two, the ability to not have a flavor, the ability to mix into your coffee. And that's also another myth that I think came up about, within minutes, your collagen is no good if you put it in coffee. That's a myth, because it takes unless you've got an unbelievable, I'm talking scorching, melting kind of thing, it's not going to change the properties of your powder. Powder is a very stable form if you have the correct form of powder. So that's another thing. So we wanted something versatile. We wanted something that people would actually use and not have to refrigerate, not have to worry about contamination. We even looked at everything, right? Okay, so that was that part. And it really was something that could also be mixed, and this is a biggie, because this is a true beauty boost. This particular product is not, it has so many attributes, but the main purpose is for your skin. It's for skin, it's from a glow, from the inside out, and it had to have all the properties of the ingredients that we wanted in our proprietary blend.